Hello, it's Sanz here. Let's talk about something that happens in every working relationship, whether it's with someone sitting next to you in the office or with your virtual assistant on the other side of the world. I've seen this scenario play out hundreds of times. A mistake happens, frustration builds, and suddenly the conversation turns to maybe outsourcing just isn't for us. But here's what I've learned after years in this space. How you respond to mistakes is actually what determines how your success is with your virtual assistant. When a mistake happens, the immediate reaction is often to question the entire arrangement. Maybe this whole virtual assistant thing just doesn't work. I knew I should have hired locally, or we're canceling our agreement and bringing everything back in-house. I get it. Mistakes can be frustrating, especially when they impact your clients or your business's reputation. But this reaction is rarely the right one, and here's why. There's something really important happening here that most people don't even recognize. When someone works in your office, you naturally have more empathy, understanding when they make mistakes. Why? Because you can see the process, not just the result. You see them struggling with a new system, you notice them asking a colleague for help, you witness their frustration when something doesn't work right, and all this creates context that makes you more forgiving. But with a virtual assistant, you only see the end result. You don't see the 2 hours they spent trying different approaches before submitting it. You don't see them reaching out to their team leader for guidance. You don't see the notes they're taking to improve the next time. This visibility gap leads us to judge remote workers more harshly based solely on their outcome rather than their effort, learning, and the process. We're quicker to attribute mistakes to incompetence rather than to the training gaps or unclear instructions. In almost every case where we've seen challenges with a virtual assistant, the root cause isn't the outsourcing model itself, it's actually a breakdown in the communication. Now, when I dig deeper with clients who are having issues, I almost always discover one of these scenarios. The VA has gone days or weeks without a proper check-in, instructions were given once verbally without proper documentation, feedback on previous mistakes wasn't clear or specific, the client assumed the VA understood something that wasn't explained, the VA was too afraid to ask questions for fear of seeming incompetent. Now, here's what I can guarantee you. In almost every situation where a virtual assistant is underperforming, there's been silence on one or both sides. In the vacuum of that silence, misunderstandings multiply. So what should you do when mistakes happen? Well, here's the approach we take at Teams by Design. The first thing is to address and assess. Now, first, we need to understand what actually happened. Was it a training issue? The VA simply doesn't know how to do something correctly. Was it a process issue? The system or workflow is confusing or broken? Was it a communication issue where the expectations weren't clear enough? Was it just a fit issue where the VA's natural strengths don't align with what's needed? Now, each of these have a differing solution, retraining. If it's a training issue, we don't immediately jump to replace, we invest in retraining. Now, remember that even your best local staff member needed time to learn your systems. Your VA deserves that same time to improve. We'll work with you to create better training materials, screen recordings, and step-by-step guides. We'll even have more frequent check-ins until the skill is mastered. Replacement, if necessary. Sometimes, despite all our best efforts at retraining, it becomes clear that a particular VA just isn't the right fit for specific needs. Doesn't mean the outsourcing model has failed. It means we need to find you a better match. Now, when this happens, we don't cancel your agreement. We replace the VA with someone whose skills and personality better align with your requirements. We'll handle the transition, the training, and the knowledge transfer. I guess the last resort options, only after we've thoroughly explored retraining and replacement would we even consider cancelling the agreement. And honestly, that's extremely rare. With proper communication, the right match, virtually any challenge can be overcome. Now, I want to emphasize this point. Silence is the enemy of successful outsourcing. When communication breaks down, everything breaks down. The VA feels unsupported and uncertain. The client feels frustrated and disconnected. Neither side gets what they need. I've seen VAs who made the same mistake repeatedly, not because they didn't care or weren't capable, but because nobody clearly told them it was a mistake. They thought they were doing exactly what was expected. And I've seen clients silently grow frustrated for weeks without ever directly addressing the issue with their VA or with us. So I guess I want to have a look at preventing issues before they actually happen. The best solution is prevention. Here's what works. Daily check-ins. Even if it's just 10 minutes, a daily video call creates an opportunity to catch the small issues before they become big problems. These calls also help bridge that visibility gap I mentioned earlier. So you get to see their process, not just their output. Clear documentation. So record your screen every time when showing them how to do something. Create checklists, write out clear processes. The clearer your instructions, the fewer the mistakes. Two-way feedback. So ask your VA regularly, what could I better explain to you? How could I make it more uncertain? Give them an environment where it's safe for them to address their concerns. Prompt addressing of issues. When something goes wrong, address it immediately. Don't let frustration build. Process visibility. Ask your VA to document their process or share progress updates. This gives you an insight into how they're approaching tasks, not just the final result. Consider tools that allow you to see drafts or in progress work. Remember this, the success of your outsourcing relationship isn't determined by whether mistakes happen. They will happen, just as they will happen with your local team. Success is determined by how you respond to those mistakes and whether you maintain open lines of communication. At Teams by Design, we're committed to making your VA relationship work. We won't let you give up at the first hurdle because we've seen firsthand how transformative these relationships can be when they're given the proper care and attention. To discuss your outsourcing needs, make sure you book into unbusychat.com where we can break down what works and what won't. So next time something goes wrong, resist the urge to question the entire model. Instead, pick up the phone, get on a video call and have an open conversation. I promise how amazed you'll be preventing most issues with clear, open communication.